Welcome to Language Level Up. My name is Don and I'm here to teach you some English. Today, we're going to learn some English from the story Cruise of the Little Dipper. Now, I won't do this for every lesson on my website, but I will do it for some to share with you on Facebook and YouTube. So here we are at my website, languagelevelup.com, and I'll just show you where you can go to find English stories. You can just go to select your language, English Level Up, reading, stories. Here, learn English with stories. I haven't put a lot of stories on here yet, just one story so far, and I'm slowly working on updating them all with key vocabulary and phrases for you to learn. So let's just learn from Cruise of the Little Dipper. We'll just learn from the first page today, and then I'll continue on with the next pages in the upcoming days. So Cruise of the Little Dipper, page 1. Let's see what we can learn from this story. So I'm going to read it for you, and then we can talk about the vocabulary and some of the phrases. Okay, so the story goes, once upon a time, there was a very poor boy who had no cap on his head, no shoes on his feet, and never a penny in his pocket. So once upon a time, what does once upon a time mean? It means a long time ago, and we don't know exactly when, just a long time ago. It could be 100 years ago, it could be 1,000 years ago, it could be 10,000 years ago. We don't know. Just this story took place a long time ago. And a lot of stories will use this type of phrase to start. Once upon a time, there was a princess in a faraway castle. Okay, once upon a time is a good way to start a story, stories that are not true. Okay, so once upon a time, there was a very poor boy. And it's saying he had no cap on his head, no hat or cap, right? No shoes. He didn't have any shoes. He didn't have any hats. And he never had a penny in his pocket. He never had 1 cent. 1 cent. A penny is 1 cent. 1/100th of a dollar. $0.01. So he never had even $0.01. He didn't have shoes. He didn't have a hat. He was very poor. He had no money and he didn't have anything that was nice. He couldn't buy anything. How poor was he? The story continues. He was so poor that he did not even have a name. Okay, he was poor, so poor he didn't have even a name. His father had gone to sea many years ago in a ship. A ship is a big boat called the Big Dipper. And as he had never returned, he never came back, people said, surely he must be dead. Yes. So the little boy's father sailed away. He got on a big boat and he went away, but he never came back. So everybody thinks he must have died. He's probably dead now. So the boy had gone to live in a small, dark house beside the sea with his great aunt. Great aunt would be his grandmother's sister. His grandmother's sister or his father's aunt. Okay? Grandmother's sister or father's aunt. That's the same person. It could be a mother's aunt as well. Okay, so your mom or dad's aunt would be your great aunt. or in other words, your grandmother's or your grandfather's sister. Okay, so what about his great aunt? He went to live with his great aunt. She was very old and cross and strict. Yes, cross, strict. She was probably not very nice. She had a lot of rules and she was very serious about those rules. And she was cross. If you broke those rules, she was going to be very, very angry. And you or this little boy would be in very big trouble. She was old, cross, and strict. All right. So there we have it. The boy wouldn't have a very happy time living with his great aunt. Let's continue. She did not let him have any sugar on his cereal or butter on his bread. And every day after school, she spanked him soundly for all the mistakes he had made that day. She spanked him soundly for all his mistakes. All right, so mistakes are something that you did that was wrong, right? You weren't perfect. You made a small mistake. You had something wrong, or you did something a little bit bad. Okay, something that you did bad or something that you did wrong is a mistake. You didn't want to do it, but you did it. Or just you did something that was not good. You did something that was bad. We would call those mistakes. So his aunt would spank him soundly. A spanking is something that usually we give children, and what it means is to hit them on the bottom, hit them on the bum with your hand, with your open hand, like the same that you would use for clapping. Okay, you would hit the child on the bum. So that's what it says. She spanked him soundly. And what does that mean? She spanked him well. She spanked him a lot. She spanked him so that he knew that she spanked him. He would know because he would be very, very sore. He would be very, very hurt from the spanking. Okay, so she spanked him soundly for all the mistakes he had made that day. And get this, continue on the story. If he had not made any, she spanked him just the same for all those he would probably make tomorrow or the next day or the next. Okay? So here we have the sentence. And if he had not made any, we're talking about mistakes. If he had not made any mistakes, she spanked him just the same. So today, if he made mistakes 10 times, she was going to spank him a lot. But if tomorrow he didn't make any mistakes, she also spanked him a lot. Why? Because, well, it says he'll probably make the mistakes tomorrow. And if he doesn't make them tomorrow, the next day, or even the next day. So at some time, he's going to make mistakes. So she spanked him every day just because he would make mistakes. Okay, so we get the picture. Not a very happy place to live. His great aunt seems like a very angry person. It would not be easy to live with his aunt. Let's continue the story. When he asked for a bit of soap to blow bright soap bubbles, he wanted to blow soap bubbles. And many children, they like soap bubbles. Bubbles are like little circles that come from making soap or pouring water in soap. Okay, so I think you know what bubbles are. If you put soap and put water, there's going to be lots of little bubbles that come up. He wanted to blow bubbles. He wanted to push the bubbles with his blowing, with the air from his mouth. He would blow, and he wanted to blow these bubbles made from soap. And this is what happened. She cried. She didn't actually cry. Cry can be another way to it can be another way to say to shout. Okay? So she didn't cry. Tears didn't come out of her eyes. She cried out. She maybe shouted. Soap bubbles, indeed. Soap is made only to wash one's face with. Okay, so she cried. Soap bubbles indeed, she shouted, right? She shouted. Soap bubbles indeed. Soap is made only to wash one's face with. Soap is for washing your face. No, you cannot have any soap for bubbles. There's no playtime for him, is there? You may have all you want for that. For what? All you want for that? That? You can have all you want for washing your face. You can have all you want for washing your face, but for bubbles, no, no. Bless my boots. What will you ask for next? Now, bless my boots is actually a phrase I haven't heard this phrase before, but this story is actually very old. This story is actually a very old story, about 100 years old. And so this might be a phrase that was used a long time ago, but it's not used today. But just in the context, we can see soap bubbles indeed. You can have what you want for that, but for bubbles, no, no. And then she says, bless my boots. What will you ask for next? So it goes to show just in the context that bless my boots might be some type of surprise. She's surprised. Oh, like, wow, like how could you ask that? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. How could he ask such a question? Well, bless my boots. What will you ask for next? I can't even believe you said that. Okay, so we learned a lot from this first page, Cruise of the Little Dipper. On the website, I have recording for you to practice pronunciation. And I just very briefly put the phrases and the vocabulary here with short videos explaining each vocabulary. But for YouTube and for Facebook, I decided, hey, I'll make also little lessons, little videos where you can just follow along and you can learn directly on Facebook and YouTube. So if you like these lessons, please let me know. I'm happy to make more. And of course, you can check out a lot more on my website and on YouTube as well. And you can look forward to more lessons coming up. So I'll see you again soon.